My next guest says all of this unrest was ginned up and generated by Donald Trump simply for political theater. Lieutenant Governor of California, Eleni Kounalakis, joining me now. Lieutenant Governor, good to have you. Why are you convinced this is just political theater?
Well, look, I think it's partially political theater, and then underlying it is Donald Trump's going after immigrant communities. He said he was going to go after criminals. Now he appears to be going after restaurant workers and farm workers. But Kira, thank you for having me on. Thank you for covering this. We're very much sending a message out to Angelenos and to everybody that peaceful protest is one thing, but graffiti is not okay. Unpeaceful protest is also not okay. And we have mobilized local and state and regional law enforcement to be able to handle the protests out in the streets.
Lieutenant Governor, let me ask you about California's legal attempt to block the deployment of these troops. It failed in court. So now what?
No, it didn't actually. It's just making its way through the process. So the first action was that the judge didn't want to make an immediate call, but he set a hearing for tomorrow. And so in the courts tomorrow, the governor and the attorney general of the state of California is going to make our case that, in fact, National Guard is not legally deployed in California without the collaboration, communication, and agreement with the governor for a situation like this. You know, most of the folks who are out in this area in downtown Los Angeles, it's hundreds of Los Angeles Police Department officers and sheriff's officers who are very well equipped, very well trained, and ready for this kind of a situation. So for Trump to bring in the National Guard, and this is why I'm saying it's theater, is they're not necessary, but it's part of Donald Trump wanting to just display that he's the big strong man, he's going to come in, he can do what he wants. But in fact, the National Guard, certainly not Marines. It's not appropriate that they're there. We don't think it's legal that they're there. We're going to argue that in court. But at the same time, we're going to continue to use California law enforcement to keep the peace.
Got it. All right. And we'll, of course, follow the court appearance tomorrow. Thank you for clarifying that. As you know, Trump's declaration to deploy these troops, it didn't even specify California in the declaration. The language was very broad. It authorizes troops to go anywhere, actually, where there are protests against ICE and ICE raids. So do you think that these troops will be deployed for sure in other states now?
Well, we know that Trump is coming after California because, he has a practice of going after people based and entities based on grievance, revenge. But the fact is, California is the fourth largest economy in the world. If we were a country, we have a very healthy economy here. So it is a big mistake, in my opinion, to do things, whether it's the trade wars or going after hardworking immigrants, that hurt the California economy. It is ultimately going to hurt the country because the California economy fuels the federal government, pays the bills of the federal government. So we're a big target, but I don't think it ends with us at all. I think that he is using us as sort of his first big case, but it's very likely that he's going to go after other states as well.
So legally speaking, immigration is a federal issue, as we know. So why should state and local leaders be able to block those laws from being enforced?
Well, I don't know which laws you're talking about. What I can tell you is that California has, because of historic immigration patterns and, frankly, the inability for Democrats and Republicans to come together, in spite of Democrats' efforts, to have comprehensive immigration reform. I have always been for that. I'm a former U.S. ambassador. Most of my Democratic colleagues have also been for that. But you remember, we tried a couple of times and the Republicans stopped it because they want to divide people over this issue. But along the way, we have a situation where in California, we're about 2.5 million undocumented people live. So these are our communities, our neighbors, our colleagues. If what Trump is really doing is trying to deport millions of people, it is going to have a very serious and very negative effect, certainly on our economy here. There is a way to go about immigration reform. There is certainly a focus that we agree should be on deportations of violent, undocumented people who are here unlawfully. But going into restaurants, going into Home Depots, pulling people, whether they are undocumented or not, because we just had a woman 9 months pregnant, a U.S. citizen, get detained. This is absolutely terrible public policy, not to mention just cruel and extremely unfortunate.
And I want to follow up with that because I actually had this written down. I want to hear what your solution is. I grew up in California as one of the largest undocumented populations, as we know, in the country. What is your solution to those that are here illegally?
So again, I'm a former United States ambassador, but I'm also the daughter of a refugee. My husband, both of his parents were refugees. They came through the generous policies of the United States that allowed our families to come here. And, as you can see, give back in service and to the economy in so many ways. I believe that the American people, certainly Californians, are not anti-immigration per se. It's that people want sensible, safe, from a national security point of view, immigration policies. And I know the Democrats tried to do this through Congress, and the Republicans would not agree to a reform process in order to have certainty around what that process looks like. And so I still think, in spite of how polarized the country is in so many ways, that leaders coming together with sensible immigration policies and a comprehensive and thoughtful way to deal with those who are here, who are working hard, who are law-abiding, and who have family here. There is a way to do this that I think most Americans would think is sensible, but that is not what is happening right now.
Lieutenant Governor of California, Eleni Kounalakis, appreciate your time today.
Thank you for having me.